right, today we are getting things done. It's a new year. We have a lot going for us. I am actually just slicing up some grapefruit right now. How good does that look? And it's just gonna go into my water bottle that I got actually for Christmas. Not like I really needed another water bottle, but this one is pretty big. It's like 64 ounces, so it's nice. You can see what's in there. It just looks really appetizing. I'm gonna go ahead and fill that up with a little bit of grapefruit. I might toss in a few frozen strawberries. I'm actually gonna start getting some crock pot freezer meals made. I'll talk about that in a minute, but that's one of my goals this year, and at least like in the beginning of the year, I really want to focus on some freezer meals, crock pot freezer meals specifically, just to kind of get a hold of dinner time and everything. Then I also want to decorate our living room shelves since I took everything down from the holidays. Then I also want to clean everything up. I cleaned a little last night, but I didn't get everything done, so I still have a little bit more to do today. And then I'm also wanting to do a little bit of food prep, including a new way that I learned to juice. I haven't actually done this yet, so I'm testing it out with you guys today for the first time, but fingers crossed that it works really well, because if it does, it's going to make juicing so much more attainable, so much easier, and I just have really high hopes for it. So we'll be doing all of that today, maybe some other stuff. We'll just kind of see how the day goes, but I'm gonna fill my water and we'll get started. So this water bottle is cool. It's, like I said, pretty large at 64 ounces, but you have like a sipper top right here. And then you also can just flip this up and sip it like a straw. So I love that. And it has a closable lid, so you can take it on the go with you.
I'll not be the one who pretend, acting like everything's sane. I never asked you to stay, but you're staying. You're giving it all for the fame. Your vanity, you have no shame. None of it makes any sense. Can you feel it? I don't wanna.
All right, so we are going to begin this video with some freezer meals. Like I said, those I think are going to be my ticket to getting really good at getting meals on the table every night at dinner. I feel like I've just been a little hit or miss on that. I kind of chatted about that in my last video, but before we can do that, I need to clear a space. So I'm just kind of putting away some of the groceries that I had just ordered on a Walmart delivery order, and then we'll go ahead and get into the actual crock pot freezer meals. But let's go ahead and do some highs and lows. We did that a few videos back, and I loved hearing your highs and lows for the week. So I will go ahead and start. So a high for me this week was I actually started doing pickleball. Kyle has been playing pickleball for a couple of years now, and he absolutely loves it. But I just recently started going with him, and we've actually been going in the mornings, which has been perfect because the kids were out of school and it was just kind of relaxed. But we would wake up at like 5:30 in the morning and go play pickleball for a couple hours, and then we came home and actually kind of started our day. But it's been really great for me because I really struggle with waking up early, and when people are actually relying on me, I can show up. So that has been a really fun high for me. And let's see, I think for my low this week, I would have to say I have struggled a bit more with insomnia. It's something that kind of comes and goes, but I don't know what it's been. I feel like I've just been struggling a little bit with sleeping. So I'm hoping that that will kind of fix itself next week, or maybe I'll just have to work on doing better with my nighttime routine, maybe do some meditation, something like that. But insomnia has definitely been a little bit of a struggle lately.
We are lost for the cause in our unspecific state. It's the logic of things that I never could explain. Fill the blanks in our dirty sheets.
All right, so I have all of my ingredients laid out for each recipe. So we're going to be making a green chili pork stew. How good does that sound? Also a chicken tikka masala and a teriyaki chicken. These two are gonna be freezer meals, but this one, the pork stew, I'm actually gonna make for tonight, but I'm going to see if I can double the recipe and also make a freezer meal for later in the week or next week or whatever. Now I do As I was going through my pantry last night in my fridge to make sure I had all the ingredients for everything, I didn't even think to look if I had better than bouillon for like chicken stock, broth, all that stuff, because I always have it. I always have it in the fridge. I feel like I always have it in the pantry extra. And as I'm like gathering everything today, I'm like, wow, I don't have it. So we are going to do the pork stew last, because once I get these two done, I need to run to the store and grab some of that. So we're gonna do the tikka masala and the teriyaki chicken first, and then we'll go to the pork stew. But let's go ahead and get it going. And FYI, anything that I share, typically I will have saved on my Amazon favorites list, always linked down below, or on my like to know it. But if you have questions about anything that I'm using or whatever, let me know in the comments and I'll get back to you. All right, so for the tikka masala, you're going to need some chicken breast, also garlic. I'm just using the convenient minced garlic. You'll need a jalapeno, some paprika, some cumin, garam masala, tomato sauce, and tomato paste, as well as salt and pepper, and either some heavy cream, or to make it dairy-free, I'm just using coconut milk, so you can do either. And then you'll also want some cilantro. Now for the teriyaki chicken, you're going to need some chicken breast or chicken tenderloins, garlic. Again, I'm just using the minced garlic. You'll also need either some honey or some sugar, ground ginger, as well as crushed red pepper flake, some cornstarch, rice vinegar, and soy sauce, or this is just coconut aminos, which is basically the same thing, and then salt and pepper. Okay, so both of these are definitely dump and go crockpot recipes, and I feel like most crockpot recipes can actually be freezer meals. There are occasionally ones where you kind of can't do that, but I would say 95% of them are definitely freezer meal friendly. So I'm just getting my freezer bags all set up on those little clips, and then I'm just dividing up my chicken between the two bags. And I'm going to start out with the chicken tikka masala. This is one of my favorite meals. If you have not ever had tikka masala, it's actually such a delicious meal. It has a ton of spice, but I really don't feel like there's a lot of heat to it. However, in this recipe, you can kind of adjust that, because when you put in your jalapeno, you can either use a seed or not use a seed. So like I said, I am just starting out with the chicken breast. Then I'm going to be adding in a lot of minced garlic. I don't really measure a lot of things. I feel like I try to measure a lot more things when I'm sharing recipes with you guys. But when I'm cooking in my kitchen by myself, I pretty much don't pull out any measuring things. I just kind of measure whatever looks and feels right. But next I'm going to go ahead and add in a jalapeno. This one did not look really spicy, so I'm just leaving the seeds in. But if you really want to limit the spice, you can go ahead and take those seeds out. And then next I'm going to be adding in all of the spices. So we're going to add in the paprika, the cumin, the garam masala, and then we're going to add in some tomato sauce as well as tomato paste. And technically this recipe says to wait to add the cilantro until the end, like once it's all done cooking. But because I don't always have cilantro on hand, I want to make sure that I have it in my freezer meal. So I'm just going to go ahead and add it in right now. However, I do always have coconut milk on hand, and that's something that you'll add in once you actually go ahead and cook it in the crock pot. And as always, I do include recipe cards in my videos for every recipe that I share, and usually I also share the recipes on my website, which is thiscrazylifevlog.com, and so I will have the blog post linked down below for that. Now for the chicken teriyaki, this one honestly could not be easier. This is like a full-on dump and go recipe. So again, I'm just starting out with my chicken in my Ziploc bag. Then you're going to add in your cornstarch. This is just going to thicken the teriyaki sauce. Next, I'm going to add in some honey. The original recipe actually calls for sugar, but I wanted to just use some honey because I feel like it's a little better for you. But either way totally works. Next, you're just going to add in some ground ginger along with some crushed red pepper. Next, I'm just adding in some rice vinegar along with coconut aminos, which is basically the same thing as soy sauce. And of course, I've got to add in a ton of garlic. Let me know if you're a fan of garlic. I feel like that's one of those things that, yes, it is very popular, but I also feel like if you don't like it, you really, really don't like it. And our family absolutely loves it. They've kind of just grown to like it because I am such a fan, and I always measure garlic by the spoonful. For the green chili pork stew, you are going to need a boneless pork loin, some garlic, russet potatoes, an onion, carrots, tomatoes, green chilies, oregano, cumin, cayenne pepper, bay leaves, salt, pepper, and some chicken stock. I'm just using Better Than Bouillon. Alright, finally for the green chili pork stew, this is what we were having on this night, and I also wanted to double the recipe so that I could also have a freezer meal. So I went ahead and pulled out my crock pot and also got my Ziploc bag set up for a freezer meal, and then I'm just going to start prepping out all of my produce and the meat. So you're going to start by peeling your russet potatoes and cut them up into 1-inch cubes. Then you're gonna do the same thing with your carrots. I don't peel these just because I buy them organic, so I wash them really good and then call it a day. Also go ahead and chop up your tomato and your onion, and then you can just add all of that into your slow cooker or your freezer bag, whatever you're making. Then once I have all my produce chopped up, I'm just gonna grab my pork loin. This is amazing because I'm able to get 2 full meals out of this, and the pork loin itself costs under $10 and it's a lot of meat. So this is definitely a pretty budget-friendly meal, and it's also very filling. But all you wanna do is go ahead and trim any fat off the pork loin and then chop it again into about 1-inch cubes. Then I'm going to add it directly into the slow cooker and freezer bag along with some minced garlic. And then we're just gonna go ahead and add in all of our spices. So I'm adding in some dried oregano, some cumin, some cayenne pepper, and a couple bay leaves along with salt and pepper. And then I'm finishing it off with 4 cups of chicken stock. I'm just using the Better Than Bouillon. It's what I've used for years and I love it just because it's so affordable, and also it takes up a lot less space than a bunch of jars of stock because it's just really condensed stock in this little jar that you can add water to, and then you're good to go. Now this recipe also calls for 1 can of green chilies, but you don't want to add that in right now. Instead, you want to add that in right when it's finished cooking. That way the flavor is still really fresh and it's not going to be kind of cooked out of the meal. Then once you have everything added into your bag, you just want to make sure to get out as much air as possible. And one little tip whenever you're making freezer meals, you want to make sure to lay them flat and freeze them flat. That way they take up a lot less space, they're able to be organized in your freezer, and it's just one of those random tips that makes a big difference. Now, anytime you do freezer meals, you definitely want to make sure to write down what they are right onto the bag or onto a label or something that you can stick onto the bag. You want to write down what exactly the meal is. Also, you want to put the date of the day that you made it up. And then I just like to add any cooking details. So I add how long I cook it for, I add what side dishes I want to go with it. For example, the tikka masala and the teriyaki chicken will probably end up going along with rice and veggies. And then the final thing that I want to make a note of is if I need to add anything to the end of the slow cooking process. So for example, that stew needs 1 can of green chilies, and then that tikka masala is going to need the coconut milk. So those are just the details that you want to make sure you write down on the freezer meal. And then the only thing left to do is pop them in your freezer. You can go ahead and defrost them the night before in the fridge and then pop them in your slow cooker the next day. Or if you forget and you don't have time to defrost them, it's no big deal. All you want to do is just maybe add like an extra hour or so to the cooking time, and you can add it straight from your freezer right into your crock pot.
No one's moving, they just rather stand and wait until it's
If you see me talking here, I swear I'm not talking to myself. My mom had actually called me, so I was just getting some things done while I chatted with her on the phone. I personally love being on the phone and visiting with someone while I'm cleaning or prepping food or whatever, just to kind of keep my mind busy, and it just makes the time go by a lot faster. Or if I don't have anyone to talk to on the phone or on Marco Polo or something, I also love listening to audiobooks or listening to a podcast. I typically will go for like the self-help or the motivation podcasts and audiobooks and things like that. I don't typically listen to just like entertainment only, like novels or things like that. But I do just love that you're able to kind of maximize your time. Like I don't just take time to sit down and listen to an audiobook often or, listen to a podcast or something. But when I'm just working on some household chores that I have to do every day, it's fun to kind of mix things up and feel like I'm actually getting a lot of benefit and feel like I'm also kind of getting other things done while I'm being productive. Let me know in the comments what you do when you clean and kind of work on all the homemaking stuff. Do you like to listen to audiobooks, podcasts, music, talk on the phone with a friend or a loved one? Or do you not really do any of those things and just work on your chores?
I met you in the sun, saw my plans come undone, 'cause I knew you were the one. So we from Paris on one knee, with a letter and a ring, got married in the spring. And the day I met you, I think I met myself.
I feel like whenever I start looking very closely at things, you can definitely notice there's a lot to be done around the house. But these cabinet messes that I'm showing you are something that you can so quickly and easily look past because you see them every day and they just kind of slowly get worse. It's not right in front of your eyes. But really, when you take a second and just check things out like this, whether it's a door or a wall or your cabinets, you can see how badly they need to be wiped down. And it's one of those things that doesn't seem like it would make a big difference, but it actually does make a pretty big impact. I notice that a lot when I wipe down light switches and door handles and even doors themselves, and also kitchen and bathroom cabinets. It makes a big difference. But walk around your house for 10 minutes and pay attention to trim and doorknobs and light switches and cabinets and things like that. Take a second to wipe down those surface areas, and it will be amazing to see how much cleaner your house looks. And it's really not a hard chore. It's just one of those things we often forget or don't really make time for. But in the end, it really isn't a very time-consuming thing. All it takes is just remembering to do it and then making it happen.
Just be with you tonight. Yeah, yeah, be with you tonight. Yeah, yeah, be with you tonight. I'll never fully know how deep your heart can go, or the beauty of your soul. Oh, where were you all along? Every other one was wrong, and I found where I belong. Oh, the day I met you, I think I met myself. I don't ever wanna be with anyone else. We got the kind of story that the stories would tell, different than I've ever felt. And I know we've got our whole lives, no indignance inside. Darling, all I wanna do is be with you. And I know we've got our whole lives, no indignance inside. Darling, all I wanna do is be with you tonight. Yeah, yeah, be with you tonight. Yeah, yeah, be with you tonight. We're not gonna leave, but I can't get enough of what you do to me. We're not in a rush. We're not gonna
we're into the new year, I'm definitely getting the itch to make things over, do some projects around the house. While I was working on this day, I kept feeling like a majority of the year, you kind of just get to work on things in your life. Like you get the opportunity to perfect your life if you take that opportunity, obviously. And then around the fall time is when things get so busy and so chaotic. And I think the season and the holidays, although they are so fun, they just kind of take over everything, and all the extra stuff really kind of goes out the window, or at least that's how it works for me. So the past few months, I have just been keeping up with the season, making things magical for my kids and the holidays and all this stuff. And now I'm just feeling really excited to make a focus on the things that I actually want to focus on. And some of those things are definitely my home. Like we have different rooms in our house. I have some furniture pieces that I want to fix, and I'll be sharing that all with you guys, but I'm really, really excited for all that. And I know that probably seems random, but it just reminded me because our coffee table that I was just wiping down, I'm sure you noticed, has a lot of scratches and scrapes just because it's a veneer and it's a dark wood. So it shows any imperfection, and that's been something that's kind of been on my list of a piece that I kind of want to refinish. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do with it, but my mind is always thinking whenever I look at it, I'm like, what could I make with you? Like, how could I kind of change you up and make it look just a little bit better, a little bit more polished in this living room?
But the way you move is perfect by design. You look just like you fell down from the sky. Yeah, you're on another level. And you got something special. If I could let you fall in love with me, you know I would. You got me with your hook, and all you got to do is pull. Your move. Now it's all on you.
Okay, so this right here is the Shark Hydrovac, and it is the cordless option. And as you may know, I do already have a vac mop, but this was on such a great deal that I have been curious to try a different brand and just kind of see how it compares. I absolutely adore my Roborock vac mop, and I honestly cannot recommend it to you guys enough. However, it is sold at a higher price point than the Shark one, and it also doesn't go on sale as much as the Shark one. I've just seen it go on sale a lot more and for a greater discount. So I figured I would take advantage of this sale recently, and I wanted to test it out, and I'll be able to tell you guys which one I prefer, or if the Shark option is worth it since it's at a better price point. Planning to go ahead and work on my floors. However, I didn't even think about I'm going to have to charge this since it's a cordless option. So I'm not going to be able to work on the floors right now. I'll just set it up and charge it. And then a little bit later on in the video, I'll actually go through my floors and test it out, and I'll be able to share my full review on it.
Remember when we went to Hollywood? We did stuff that we never thought we would. Backstage parties, drinks, and limousines. Yeah, I told you that I loved you.
All right, so the way we're going to make our juice is going to be with a blender. I do feel like you probably need to have a high-speed blender, but I also think there's so many good, more affordable high-speed blenders on the market now. We've had our Vitamix for like 8 years or something. We've had it a really, really long time. I did end up getting just a shorter actual blender bottle a few years back, but this machine has survived a lot for like 8 years, almost a decade. So anyway, what we're gonna do is you basically just add all of your stuff into your blender. You do need to add in a little water. It's what I've read, like maybe a cup, maybe 2 cups, kind of see where you need. And then you are just going to strain out your juice. I have read that they recommend using a nut milk bag, which I do have because I used to always make our own like oat milk, rice milk, things like that. But I also am going to first try out using my fine mesh strainer and see how that does, because I think that would be a lot easier. But we'll kind of play around with it, and I'll let you guys know any tips as we go. But we are going to make 2 different juices today. I'm gonna make one that's like a super yummy green juice, and then we're also going to make an immunity juice. That's gonna have like carrots, oranges, I believe ginger, and lemon. So it's kind of like 2 different style juices, but they're both super flavorful, super yummy. And I'm really excited to see how this works compared to a traditional juicer. I love our juicer so much, but you have to wash all the little pieces, and it's just kind of like one of those tedious things that is easy to push off and not do. So we'll see how this goes. All right, for the green juice, we have spinach, kale, celery, cucumbers, some ginger. I know it sounds weird if you haven't put this in your juice, but it is so good. Lemon and green apples. And then of course we'll add a little water into that. All right, and then for the immunity juice, we are going to have carrots, oranges, lemon, ginger again, and then water as well. So those are our 2 juices that we're gonna go ahead and make up.
I have seen that face more than a million times, like a million times. I have seen that, baby. I can treat you right and you can prove me wrong. Turn around, be gone, turn around now, baby. You think you're special like the others, something to discover. Think you're little fun, but I have seen that face more than a million times. Think I know by now that I can be the one, if that is what I want. Your days are gone, you've had your little fun. And now I'll make your dreams come true, if that is what I want to do with you. I'm only here for the little fun, here for what dreams are made of. I'm only here for the little fun. Oh, yeah, I can be the one, if that is what I want. Your days are gone, you've had your little fun, your little fun. You think you're the coolest by a million miles, baddest boy in town, but you know what, baby? Easy come and easy go is fine by me, suits me perfectly. So goodbye now, baby. You're nothing special like the other, nothing to discover, just a little fun.
Okay, so I'm starting out with this really tight weave mesh sieve. I think that's what it's called, but this is going to hopefully get a lot of the fiber and a lot of the texture out of the juice. And then I'll go in, if needed, I'll go in with my nut milk bag and be able to get out the rest.
Call me a rover, 'cause I'm a believer of the things we leave. I never hold on, ready for whatever there is left in me.
All right, so this is my nut milk bag, and I just tasted a little with a spoon, and I think it definitely is going to need to go into here. But what I'm gonna do to make this easy is actually, I'm just gonna use a mason jar, and I'm gonna stick this through here and see how this works.
We could try to be more than friends. The secret of how it ends. It starts with the pick up, keep getting bigger. We watch it go down in flames. Don't wanna know your name. That's how we know it ends. It starts with the pick up, keep getting bigger. We watch it go down in flames. Hang on the ropes now, 'cause I wanna feel your body next to me. Get a bit closer.
All right, so to give you some feedback on this whole blender juicing thing, I would say I'm overall a fan of it. I don't think that it worked quite as well for the carrot juice, and I think it's just because the carrots are very pulpy, if that's even a word. But the carrot juice was definitely a lot thicker and just a lot harder to get through the mesh sieve. But the benefit to doing this is I do feel like you get a lot more juice with a lot less produce, which is awesome. I do know that you're adding in water, so clearly you're going to be getting a little bit less nutrients. However, it is nice to not have to use like 5 apples to get a few cups of juice. Like for example, on that green juice, I used 1 apple, a few pieces of celery, I used a lot of kale and some spinach. Like that's a lot of juice for just that little bit of stuff. And there really wasn't a whole lot of waste. I feel like with a typical juicer, there is a lot more pulp. So I have to say I'm definitely a fan of this way, but I think it's just going to be one of those things that really depends on what kind of juice you're making, because like I said, the orange one with all the carrots just was a little bit more difficult to squeeze through the nut milk bag. But I also would say if you don't have a juicer and you do have a good blender, then for sure, this worked totally great. The juices tasted incredible, and I could really not even tell a difference between a juice that I made in my juicer versus this blender juice.
I'm holding my breath as I walk to your front door. Who would have thought it could feel like this? Heart in my hands, I'm shaking like crazy. Answer the door, I got so much to say. When you're all that I want, can't you see that I'm sorry, love? Let me in, 'cause I know that you're hurting. Please, this is it. Can we give it just one more try? Say believe in me. Looks like we're waiting here for a long time.
All right, the day has moved faster than me, so it is very dark outside and it's actually about time for dinner, but I want to get one more thing done before I wrap the day up, and then I think tomorrow I'll actually go through and clean up the floors with my new vac mop. So I'll share with you guys what I think of that, and then I'll also decorate the shelves tomorrow. So anyway, we're gonna quickly make some overnight oats. I have made these so many times. They are such a staple. Super quick and easy to prep. They're super quick and easy to grab on the go, or you know, just have like a quick breakfast at home or even a snack, and you can customize them. So I'm gonna show you a different customization today. So for these overnight oats, of course, you just need some kind of bowl. They don't have to be anything fancy. These are just some Pyrex storage dishes that I have, and I believe they're in like the 2 cup size. And then you're just going to need some rolled oats, some almond milk, or whatever milk you like. And then if you want, you can add in things like chia seeds, flax seeds, whatever add-ins you want, just sprinkle those on in. And then for the flavors and topping on this one, you're just going to need some peanut butter or other nut butter that you like, along with some bananas. But really, you can get so creative with these. These are so awesome because you literally just mix them up like this, and then you stick them in the fridge and just use them within like 3 to 5 days and you'll be good to go. Now, personally, I would just recommend chopping up your banana the morning of whenever you're about to use this. But if you want, you can go ahead and do it now. It may just get a little bit brown and soggy in your oat bowl, but it really won't taste a whole lot different whether you add it in now or later. Then once you have everything added in and mixed up, you're going to just pop the lids back on, stick it in the fridge, and grab it whenever you're ready to enjoy.
Looks like we're waiting here for a long time. Looks like I've got to prove you wrong. This is a long shot. I'm in, I got a lot to prove. Looks like we're waiting here for a long time. Honey, give me a chance.
Once our stew was all done cooking, I just went ahead and added in that can of green chilies once I got done fighting with the can itself. But all you need to do is literally just dump it in and stir it and mix it up. You're also gonna try your best to fish out those bay leaves, and then you serve it just as is. You can always add in salt and pepper if needed, but this is such an incredibly delicious stew. I feel like it has really unique flavors because whenever you think stew, or at least whenever we think of stew, we think of beef stew with tomato and potato and carrots and celery and all that stuff. But this is definitely a little bit more of like a Southwest feel, and it's right up my alley, like my favorite kind of flavors. If you love those kind of flavors too, this is gonna be one that you'll love as well. Alrighty, we are going to decorate the shelves, but as promised, we are first going to test out the new Shark vac mop. I don't know if it's new actually, but it's new to me. So let's go ahead and turn it on. I did not do my floors. I didn't even turn this on so that we can test it out together. Okay, so I definitely had a lot of thoughts on this, and I'll kind of give you my official thought right at the end of this little cleaning session. But one thing that I really liked and I noticed immediately was that it was so lightweight. Like, this is a lot lighter weight and easier to maneuver than my Roborock, which is definitely a plus. I also would say that it did clean very well, and something that I'm not really sure if it's like a massive pro or not, but overall I would put it in like the pro category, is that it actually had a rug cleaning option. That was that little button that I first pressed right when I was turning it on. I just pressed it to check it out and see what it was about. I don't fully know like what it means exactly, so I'm not entirely sure on that, but it is cool that you are able to go over your rugs. I thought that was a really neat option. Now for the cons, I would say that it maybe has a little bit smaller clean water tank, which just means that you're not going to be able to clean as long without refilling that. I also feel like it has a little bit of a shorter battery life, which is just going to, again, kind of shorten your clean time. Now, if you did get the corded option, that's not going to be a problem. And I would say for what I clean typically, this isn't going to be a problem for me either, but just, you know, some notes. Now, for me, I would say the biggest downfalls to this, and something that I didn't fully realize, I knew that my Roborock did self-cleaning, and I knew that was a big deal. Like, I thought that was awesome. But I kind of thought that was a universal thing. Like, a lot of these vac mops actually do that, but it turns out that's not the case. So this Shark, it's not as streamlined whenever you have to clean it out, which that part is normal. Like, even with the Roborock, you still have to clean out your machine. Like, you have to empty it, you have to rinse it out, otherwise it will get yucky. However, I never have to touch the roller on my Roborock because it has that self-clean option. Whereas on the Shark Hydrovac, you do have to pull that out and clean that out yourself, which isn't the biggest deal, but I've been spoiled with a Roborock, so I'm definitely a fan of that self-clean option, and I just found myself missing it. Now, overall, my thoughts on this are the Roborock is definitely at a higher price point. I don't see it go on sale near as often or near as discounted, but I would say if you have the budget to go for the Roborock, I would suggest that one. But if you don't have the budget, I do think the Shark is an incredible option. I'm only being like very picky on it just because I'm really trying to compare the two, but I really don't think you can go wrong with either. I think they're both going to make mopping a lot easier, a lot more convenient, and even though you do have to clean it out each time, just like a mop and bucket, you know, it's just a little extra step. It still just saves so much time because in the end, you're not having to vacuum your floors and then go through and mop them as well. But I will have the link for both machines down below so you can check them out.
Said, I am not interested, thank you. Then she left the room. Bartender. I'll have the usual. Give me the usual. I'll take the usual. I'll have the usual. Give me the usual. Another usual.
All right, finally it's time to decorate the shelves, and I am not getting anything new. I'm just pulling from the decor that I have in our guest bedroom, which is where we keep it. We just got some IKEA cabinets. We shared that several years ago. We put those in, and it's just been really great to be able to store my decor and just have a specific place to put it. For the shelves today, I'm not doing any kind of theme. I'm not doing, you know, spring or summer or anything. I'm just doing everyday decor. And sometimes I think it's really fun to do that. Nothing really fancy, just putting up what you really love, and that's exactly what I'm doing here. So whenever I go to decorate, I will follow a few rules. Like, you can use the rule of 3. You definitely want to play with texture, color, size difference, things like that, just to create a lot of interest as you're decorating. But a lot of decorating is just going to be putting something up there, seeing what you think, standing back, changing it up, and just keep on going with that until you like what you see. And you'll definitely get there, so stick to it. I feel like a lot of times it's easy to get overwhelmed, or it's easy to kind of feel like you just can't figure it out. But if you do keep on trying new things, you'll definitely get it looking exactly how you want.
spark that leaves me burning. Yeah, you just have your ways to get me high. You make all my dreams come true. It feels right when I'm around you. We could break up and then make up. I always come back to you. You move me in a way never thought anyone could. You get me high. You're my drug when I am feeling blue. Yeah, it's all you. 'Cause you're the one. Yeah, the one. Yeah, you're the one. Yeah, the one. You touch me in a way that makes me shiver. Sometimes I can't believe that you're
All right, so the lights up there, that's how it's supposed to look. It lights it up so pretty. And over here, this one's actually been out for a few months, but we were waiting on the light to arrive. And then that one went out just like a week ago. And Kyle, like the lights finally arrived, but they're the wrong size. So he's actually gonna have to like router this out to add them in. And then we will have matching lights, which will be awesome because it actually makes quite a bit of difference in just like how dark or lively the shelves look. These olive stems, I think I got them on Amazon years and years and years ago, and they have been one of my most versatile pieces. I have used them in all different seasons and all different areas, and they just always are one that I'm definitely going to be continuing to keep and use for years to come. But once I got the coffee table all decorated, I just used my DIY room spray, which is just water and a lot of drops of essential oil, whatever scent you're wanting, and I'm just spritzing that around the room just to make sure it's smelling really nice and fresh.
Got a beautiful story, and we've only just begun. The best is yet to come.
Okay, this I've been so excited about. I have had my eye on this vase for probably about 5 months now, and every time I go to look for it, it's sold out. So at the moment, it's not sold out. I will link it below. But this is from Walmart, you guys. It looks so incredible. It's really, really good size. And I know that this one is going to be one of my staple pieces that I'll have again for years to come. But I'm just doing a little tray styling on our table. I'm adding in some candlesticks. Also this beautiful low profile candle. This is the same one that I used for Christmas, but it looks so, so pretty. And then I'm just adding in some floral stems into that beautiful vase. And voila, the table is all done.
Best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. It's like running through an open door. It's like finding what you're looking for. We got a beautiful story. Every moment on and on. We got a beautiful story. And we've only just begun.
All right, you guys, we are all finished. We got a lot done today. Stay tuned for Monday. I am going around the house and decluttering, and I'm decluttering a lot, and I'm decluttering a lot of different areas. So you definitely do not want to miss out on that motivation. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope you feel like you got a lot out of it. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. It really means so, so much more than you know. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.